Excuse me? 1 cent? Are you telling me that magical flame critting was a bug? Oh, that's just outrageous. And that's why I'm going to be covering the patch notes before the patch comes out, before we get the numbers, rough, weird Japanese translations, because the patch is crazy. Like, I made it that far and went, alright, we gotta do a video reaction to it. All kinds of crazy stuff coming in. Gonna be making a lot of content. Like, comment, subscribe. Also check back on the channel, because YouTube does this really stupid thing where after 3 notifications, they just don't send my videos out anymore, even if there's more than 3 videos worth of content in 24 hours. So, we got some crazy stuff going on. Absol getting nerfed. So, hey, it's the monthly patch, and at least some of the problems are being solved. Let's see what new ones are going to be made. So, range on Night Slash is down. I wasn't expecting that, but that always turns out to be a significant hit. The amount of damage done to the opposing Pokemon has been reduced, and Psycho Cut damage reduction. So, I think the bonus damage on Psycho Cut is good. The weird thing is, like, the moveset just fell apart, though. Because I was thinking, Psycho Cut Pursuit seems like it would be pretty strong. Like, yeah, Night Slash just turned out to be insane. But Pursuit on the 44% win rate. And the weird thing is, 5% of Absol players, just psychopaths out there, are running Sucker Punch Night Slash and still holding close to a 50% win rate. Some of the, actually no, the good picks, so like someone's out there running X attack, someone's out there using Fluffy Tail at the start of Zapdos instead of using it as an execute. But yeah, 50% win rate on Night Slash Sucker Punch. Apparently Night Slash was a problem, that's getting the bigger nerf, but Psycho Cut definitely a buff to the character. Now the thing about Absol is I've always considered it a very low tier Pokemon since launch, because it just completely vanishes in the late game. Even if you were doing like, you know, couple months ago or a couple months into the game cheese where it's just like, yeah, I'm just ulting Dreadnought and securing first Dreadnought or something and then trying to snowball my team. Absol just makes the game a 4v5 at Zapdos. Now, the recent buffs definitely changed that, but that put Absol up to about A tier for me. And when people started respecting Absol after they realized how nutty it is after the buffs, it started to feel like less and less oppressive. And yeah, overall, I think it's going to, like, now it's weird, because, again, I put it, like, at A tier after these buffs, and it kind of, like, dictates the end game, but now you just have to play around Absol in a very specific way. But now that this is getting a nerf, like, at least it's not going to feel unfair, because, like, that's just the problem of crits. You know, Absol, your jungle Absol rolls up in the lane, no crits and dies. Their jungle Absol rolls up, gets, like, 5 crits, and then your game's over. So that's the problem with like such an RNG based character, is that the snowballing is unhealthy for the game. And now it's like, alright, cool. It's going to take a little bit more luck to succeed, but at least not like a completely unplayable Pokemon because of the power and the bonus damage and what it brings to objectives. And now we get to talk about Delphox, because Mystical Fire and Fire Blast were critting when they shouldn't. Now, that was more of like a niche thing. However, I feel like some people felt like a 3k Mystical Fire a few times. It wasn't like the main item set that people were running, but still something interesting. And then this gets me. Apparently, the devs think that Delphox in a good enough spot to buff Fire Blast. So Mystical Fire, that's fine. I find this interesting because Delphox with the 52% win rate, and it's had a good amount over 50% since its release, and some of these, like, it's also the disparity of this character is just crazy. Flame Charge, 40%. Flame Charge Delphox, one of the worst things to ever exist in Pokemon Unite. Ever in Pokemon Unite. Fire Blast, underperforming. Fire Spin Mystical Fire, huge. Also the most common pick. A lot of crazy stuff. X Speed makes sense. Now, I personally, as a Cramorant main, felt that Fire Blast was the better play, and might still, like, secretly be the niche pick, or maybe, like, this buff actually just makes it the new, like, oh, you pick this and then you win. Because it's just better surf. Like, at the point you're doing so much damage, the knockup doesn't matter, and Fire Spin is just a better Hurricane. Fire Spin is, like, a less skilled Hurricane with better crowd control. Delphox is just better Cramorant, and it's getting a buff on one of its, oh, if there's not a Cramorant buff in here, I'm gonna be upset. However, damage reduction on Flame Spin, also the duration. Yes! Dude, I have seen some of the stupidest Fire Spins ever, where it's just sitting there forever. and then it still finds someone, and they still get spun around forever. So yeah, the fire spin needed a nerf, my goodness. But Mystical Fire knocking nerf and Flame Charge, so duration, and then so you get to charge further and then you get more buffs. I don't even know what Flame Charge does, my guy. Okay, so it's like Sylveon's Mystical Fire. You dash, it throws out some fireballs at them, it does damage, and then each extra one does a bit less because Delphox and the reach, so more of a dash range, always good. Cooldown on the dash, like, it needs charges. I feel like if it had like an extra reserve charge, that would actually be very useful, but alright, there we go. Blissey, weakening the shield and increasing the cooldown. Man, amount of damage done to the opposing Pokemon has been reduced, shortening the duration. So wow, Egg Bomb getting the nerf. It looks like they really want the identity of Blissey to be just giga non-stop healing Pokemon. And honestly, the Egg Bomb has weird interactions because Blissey being a support Pokemon means it does 20% more damage to wild Pokemon in the later stages of the game and 10% more damage early. So it has like weird stealing effects. Also, being forced into the egg and just like throwing it, like you're also getting so many charges to where you can just throw out 1 or 2 Egg Bomb charges and not have it be the useless move it was before the change. So like, yeah, that knockback, actually significant. Hard to land, gets kind of tricky, but like you do that, it's a surprising amount of damage, and it's a surprising amount of disruption. And with Blissey just kind of being strong overall, we're hitting both move sets, you know. This was always one of the best moves, and then Egg Bomb overperforming because the egg charges. Zeraora, Azumarill, that's the patch? Yeah, bro, and now I'm thinking about it. No Delphox Unite nerf either. The Pokemon's kit is strong. Now, yeah, nerfing Fire Spin going to hinder the Pokemon quite a bit, but apparently like just Mystical Fire Unite move perfectly balanced according to the devs. So, and then also that Fire Blast, yeah, we'll just give it damage. And they nerf Cramorant without buffing it. Come on. Zeraora getting buff. Oh, they did it. No. 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 You can't give the bad players what they want. From a character design perspective, there was nothing wrong with Zeraora having a level 10 Unite move. Like, yeah, it makes you weak at first Dreadnought, but that's if the enemy Pokemon can also get to level 9 or their Unite move. But the problem is more people were upset that Zeraora was like the only Pokemon with a level 10 Unite move, and that had to go away because it was the only Pokemon with a level 10 Unite move. Because we know the Pokemon Unite community and the Pokemon community in general is filled with idiots that have just no basic comprehension skills and are complete NPCs. Zeraora having a level 10 Unite move is completely fine to have in the game, even thematically, because that makes it a novel Pokemon. Now, if the devs weren't terrified of Zeraora's potential, they could have just given it compensation buffs elsewhere to be like, yeah, if you're playing the jungle, you're likely putting your team behind because you have late Unite move access, but then you put power elsewhere in the kit. You give it more stats late, you give it more scaling, and that way, if you manage to get to that power spike, or you like overcome the weaknesses you have, then you get the massive reward of an uber late game carry. But no, they're just dropping it to level 9. So I mean, this is just an outright buff to Zeraora. That level 9 fight that most players aren't even good enough to get level 9 before Dreadnought are encountering, so this doesn't even affect them. Like, alright, cool. But also the Rotom comeback, or like if you tick over after they steal Dreadnought, and then you get all that comeback experience at the Rotom fight because you have your Unite move, that could potentially be a thing. A lot of weird interactions here, but yeah, just like an outright buff for Zeraora. But also this. What is Hoden? Holy shit, it's Discharge. Dang, like you could have just buffed Discharge and have Zeraora be a strong Pokemon, and like that's the thing. You just put Zeraora into lane, and the level 9 isn't going to happen at Dreadnought anyways. And lane Zeraora, while technical, while tricky, can still pull it off. And then if you get that scaled, you're just an absolute monster in the points of the game that matters, such as like second Rotom, second Dreadnought, Zapdos, and you take over that fight, and then you win the game from lane Zeraora. But increasing the damage on Discharge, and then reducing the cooldown. like a second discharge in a fight, or like something else weird, or being able to like re-engage. Oh, the Pokemon's nasty. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to note is that, again, people that are just like, oh, but level 10, unusable Unite move. Zeraora Power Spikes at level 9. It has the flat speedster package to where it gets cooldown reduction and critical hit rate at level 9. And that was kind of the secret about Garchomp too. That Garchomp, back before like all the changes when it evolved at level 10, it had a Gabite level 9 Power Spike and was very strong. And that's why people thought Garchomp was bad, because they just don't understand the game at all. And every other Pokemon Unite YouTuber didn't understand the game either, and they don't look at the stats. They don't understand how to play a Pokemon at its ceiling. And then Garchomp ended up getting nerfed by being brought down to level 9, and a lot of ugly stuff ended up happening. So yeah, but this isn't like a nerf. I don't imagine there's going to be stat compensation buffs here, like, oh yeah, we're going to reduce... Like, there's no other stats going away. There's no stat package, there's nothing, and then just a straight buff to discharge. That's overtuning. Zeraora's back in S tier. Azumarill. Big buffs, it looks like, to make Azumarill. Azumarill gets buffed and Cramorant doesn't. Come on! And also Garchomp could use a buff. Like, just getting rid of crits off of your Dragon Claw Dragon Rush. Why? Okay, so Azumarill's gonna have more hit points. Good. Amount of damage increased on this. Well, just go to Pokemon Unite DB in a couple hours and then get the full numbers. I'm scared of Azumarill getting buffed because I feel like Azumarill can easily become just an unhealthy bruiser for the game if it can just get in there and duel 3 people better than Garchomp or as good as Sarina and just have very little counterplay around like all the weird stuff in its kit that's just a little undertuned right now. So too much of a buff. I don't want to see, like, this might be a Azumarill patch. It might not be. Like, that's also a thing. Like, we've seen Azumarill get buffed and it still not be enough. But I'm scared. There's like 5 people out there that have been playing Azumarill the whole time, and they're getting good on that character. So yeah, this might be Zeraora patch, especially with Absol going down. A lot of weird things to kind of like take into consideration here. Play rough, less cooldown, so I guess you get to do it more in a fight. At least if play rough got damage buff, that could be actually pretty scary. Aqua Tail. Amount of damage done to opposing Pokemon increased. Hit point recovery increased. Waiting time reduced. So yeah, just big buffs overall for the Azumarill. Is it enough to matter? Because like now, that's just an outright buff to Aqua Tail Play Rough. And I considered Play Rough Whirlpool to be the better moveset. It still might be, like, even with all these like weird changes and stuff, but like more health, harder to take out, and I'm guessing Millet is Bubble, so you just have like a little bit better early game. Hey, I googled it and it's Bubble, so it looks like we actually understood what's going on in the patch, and it's just going to come down to the numbers. So it actually doesn't look like a scary buff to Azumarill, but again, like, just weird sleeper effects in MOBAs and things just become nonsensical, and it's always like one overwhelmingly dominant Pokemon per patch. So is it Azumarill, is it Zeraora, or is the game finally balanced, or is it just Sarina, because Sarina didn't get touched, and Sarina's actually ridiculous too. So, hope you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day, thank you very much for watching.